guys, so section 2.3 is on standard form of a line. So far in chapter 1, we've talked about slope-intercept form, which was y is equal to mx plus b. We've talked about point-slope form, which was y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And today we're going to be talking about standard form, which is the other form of a line you need to memorize, which is ax plus by is equal to c. So there's a few rules when it comes to standard form. The first rule is that a, b, and c are all integers. You cannot have fractions or decimals allowed. And a has to be positive. Okay, another thing for you to remember is that x and y intercepts of a line. The x-intercept occurs when y is 0, so it's kind of flipped. And the y-intercept occurs when x is 0. So it says writing in standard form. We have to move these equations around to put them in standard form. So hear me out. Number 1, remember standard form is ax plus by equals c. So we want to get x to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 8 on both sides, or sorry, 8x on both sides. We get negative 8x plus 2y is equal to 1. Now, we can't have a negative a value, so I am going to multiply everything in this equation by negative 1, and I'm left with 8x minus 2y is equal to negative 1. All right, so that is standard form for number 1. This next one, x and y all have to be on the same side. So for this one, I'm going to rewrite, because when I look in your notes, it just says 3y minus 2x equals 5x. So I'm going to rewrite that. All right, so now we want to move x over, so it's going to be 3y. If I subtract 2x from both sides, I get negative 7x equals 0. I'm going to rewrite this so I get negative 7x plus 3y is equal to 0. And then I'm going to multiply everything in here by negative 1 so that we don't have that negative sign. So I get 7x minus 3y is equal to positive, or sorry, is equal to 0. Number 3, we have 4x plus, well, this is already in standard form, right? Another way you might see this would be 4x plus 0y equals 1. Either or, though, it's already in standard form. If you want to write that 0y, by all means, go ahead and do that. Okay, number 4, we cannot have fractions, so we're going to multiply everything by 3 in this equation. When I do that, 3 times 1/3 is going to give me 1. So I get 1x plus 3y is equal to 0, because 3 times 0 is 0. This next one looks like decimals. I'm going to multiply everything in here by 10. So when I do that, to clear out the decimals, because you cannot have decimals, you're going to get 2x minus 30y equals, not 30y, should be minus 30 is equal to 70y. We need to move some things around here. So I'm going to subtract 70y on both sides. So I get 2x, right, minus 70y is equal to, I'm going to add 30 on both sides, is equal to 30. That'll work. ax plus by equals c. So as long as your x and y's are there, they're both integers, they're not fractions, they're not decimals, and a is positive, you're good. Taking a look at number 6, we have 0x plus 2/5 y equals 6. I'm going to multiply everything by 5 to clear that fraction. So I get 0x plus 2y equals 30. All right. Part 2, using x and y intercepts to graph linear equations. Basically what we're doing here, guys, is we're trying to figure out where the x and the y cross. So to do this, down below, we are trying to get the x and y intercepts. So to get the x and y intercepts, we have to pretend like the y is not there. All right, so we're going to get 2x equals 6 if I cross off that y, right? So we get x is equal to 3. My graph hits the x-axis at 3. All right, same for y. We're going to make sure x isn't there. So we're going to have negative 3y is equal to 6. Divide both sides by negative 3, so we get y is equal to negative 2. Which means it's going to cross this graph here at negative 2. Now, if I had a straight edge, I would make sure that these were perfectly straight and they went through each other. But because we are doing this remotely right now, I'm going to go ahead and sketch my graph. All right, so let's try this next one. If I need to find my x, it would be negative 5x, pretend like y is not there, equals 10. All right, so we get negative, we'll divide both sides by negative 5. So we get x is equal to negative 2. For the y-intercept, we pretend like the x is 0. So negative 5 times 0 is 0. So we get y equals 10. So if y is 10, that's up here. And if x is negative 2, that is down here. Sketch this out and you are set. All right. For number 3, I know my x-intercept is when y isn't there. So, or when y is 0, x is 8. For my y-intercept, x would have to equal 0. So I get 0 is equal to 8 minus 2y. I'm going to subtract 8 both sides. I get negative 8 equals negative 2y. So y has to equal 4. So when I go in and graph this, if y is 4, x has to be positive 8. I can do a nice little sketch, and there's my graph. Now remember from pre-algebra, what lines look like when a line is only x or only y. So remember, if x is equal to a number, that means it crosses my x-intercept at a given point. Okay, so if x is equal to a number, that means it's going to go up and down if x equals a number. If y equals a number, it just goes left to right. So here, if I have, x equals 5 versus y equals 5, if x is 5, this is when x equals, whoa, buddy, when x is 5, it's called an undefined slope. And when y is 5, crosses my y-intercept. No matter what, y is always going to be 5. So this one is y equals 5, and this one is going to be x equals 5. A way to remember that is if I had a set of points and x is always 5, no matter what my points are, for y, I'm going over 5, up 6, over 5, down 0, over 5, up 2. So my x values are always going to be 5. When I have y equals 5, that means no matter what, all day, every day, if I have a table with x and y values, my y values are always 5. I can plug in different points for x and y. So I go over 2, negative 2, up 5, 0, 5. And all day, every day, my y value is 5. All right, so down below it says writing equations in standard form. So if line passes through 0, 4, and 1, 5, write the equation in standard form. So remember, standard form, we have to move things from point slope form to standard form to slope intercept form. You should be comfortable moving equations from one form to the other. So if a line passes through 0, 4, and 1, 5, write the equation in standard form. Well, standard form is ax plus by equals c. So to find the slope from these 2 points, that's my first goal, right? So I subtract my y. Slope is y2 minus y1. So 5 minus 4, which is 1, over 1 minus 0, which is 1. So my slope here has to be 1. Now, really, it's up to you if you want to put this in point slope form first or slope intercept form. For me, I see a freebie right here for slope intercept form. So I'm going to do that. So I get y equals x plus 4. Ms. Widerski, can I leave that as 1x? Sure. Now they want it in standard form, so we need to move x to the other side. To do that, I'm going to subtract x on both sides. Now I get negative x plus y equals 4. I'm not done. I'm going to multiply everything in here by negative 1. I'm going to change my color because remember, we can't have a negative a value. So that's why I'm multiplying by this negative 1. So negative 1 times negative x is x, or 1x. Okay, negative 1 times positive y is negative y, and negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. So I get x minus y equals negative 4. So really we're just moving the lines around and our equations around to fit the rules that go along with each, okay? Number 2, it says write the equation in standard form. This one doesn't have a freebie, so I'm going to do point slope form on this one, okay? So first and foremost, we need to find the slope. So remember, my slope is y2 minus y1. So 13 minus 5, which is 8, over negative 2 minus 2, which is negative 4. So my slope is negative 2. Well, now I'm going to put it in point slope form so that I don't have to find slope intercept form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y minus y1 is 5 equals my slope of -2 times x minus 2. By doing this, all right, I'm helping myself out in a couple ways. Now I can say, okay, distribute -2x plus 4, and I can bring over the y minus 5. Well, now I need to add 2 to both sides, or sorry, 2x to both sides to get x on the left-hand side of my equation, and I'm going to add 5 to both sides to move that over to be my c value. So now I should have 2x plus y equals 9. All right, so that 2x plus y equals 9, that's going to work because a is positive. There are no fractions. There are no decimals. I have ax plus by equals c. Final answer. We're going to skip that word problem and go over it in classwork. So today, these are our notes on 2, 3.